Now the flasks. We want a flask with instant recovery when on low life, and we want a divine life flask because it gives us the highest possible recovery of life. Well, then I usually go with immunity to ignite and remove burning, because burning sucks and does a lot of damage to earth. Then you want a diamond flask and a quicksilver flask. You want attack speed on it. Attack speed deals a lot of damage, critical strike chance to hit the maximum crit strike chance, to trigger your curses. I will show you in a moment. Bottle of Face, hell yeah, and Dying Sun. You want increased effect on this. Why? Because it gives you 2 additional projectiles. If you have 50% increased effect or higher, I think 60 is the lowest, you get an additional projectile. That means you're shooting 3 instead of 2 extras. Bottle of Face, yeah. Before you have this, you can go with Sulfur Flask. And if you don't have the Dying Sun, go with the Onslaught Flask, Silver Flask. Now the gems, I'm getting tired to explain, so we hurry up here. First is body armor. This is the setup you want. Those. You want Siege Ballista Anomalous at the end when you're going with Barrage. You change in Hypothermia to Barrage when you have at least 18, 19, 20 Siege Ballistas. After that, it doesn't matter anymore. Why? Because Barrage makes your Siege Ballistas shoot straight. 6, I don't know, what is it? I don't know how many additional projectiles in a row, but a lot. And before that, we're using Hypothermia to have a nice spread from the Rhino Splinters. It freezes the monsters more and has a bigger range, so it's easier to map with it. If you can't afford a Rhino Splinter, you're going with a volley support. Why not GMP? Well, because GMP, yeah, it gives you 2 more, I think, projectiles, but you deal a lot of less damage. And 3 is enough, trust me. So later on we get rid of this, we're going with crit multiplier, awakened elemental damage with attacks, because we are better. The Siege Ballistas will be immune to reflected elemental damage. Cold Pan is the best option here, and Anomalous Inspiration. You can use the default ones if you can't afford it. At start you only need 1 6 link. Later on you can get another one. You can, for example, leave out here the enhance and only going with a 5. We're using Frenzy because we're getting Frenzy charges, which gives us attack speed and damage. Awaken cast on critical, so if we crit, that's why we want high crit chance, we're popping Sniper Smite, Elemental Weakness, and Frost Bomb. Why Elemental Weakness? Well, I see people using Frostbite, but dude, Elemental Weakness plus Enhance gives you more elemental resistance penetration or minus, because Elemental Weakness stacks with quality. As higher the quality, as more elemental resistance minus for the enemy. If we take it out for a moment, you see it's only 44. I know Frostbite is 45, but if you use an enhance, booyaka, 50, 5% more, that's 1/9. Frost Bomb is a nice one, gives you 50% cold exposure. You only want level 1, because if you go higher, it doesn't matter. The exposure will not increase, it will always stay at that 50%. So go level 1, save your mana, go with quality for a higher range, but you want the Divergent one, has increased area effect, that's why the quality. If you had the normal one, it doesn't really matter. Boots, I'm going with Summon Lightning, Blood Range, Ensnaring, Enhance. If you don't want Enhance at start, you can go with Culling Strike. At the end, from the bosses, you can just shoot an ensnaring arrow and cull them to death. Later on, you will not need it anymore and can give this a nice boost. Summon Lightning Golem, attack speed, you know what they do. Make sure you once shoot ensnaring arrow on a boss when you're fighting to give him a debuff, as well as the maximum number of frenzy charge you can gain. It's 4 for me, so I shoot 4 times ensnaring arrow, 4 times frenzy, once ensnaring arrow, and the debuffs are very nice. You will see that. Anomalous for a more buff effect. Now we're going to the helmet. That's what I said. If you have the 9% gem reservation thingy, you can deactivate Enlighten and activate Awakened Unbound Elements and have even more damage. Hatred 21, you don't need this, it's only the area, doesn't need. Blah blah. Gloves. There's 2 important things. Wild Haste, we don't use the haste aura, we only use the wild skill, which is a boost for bossing, for example. But you want to separate those 2 from Dash and Second Wind. Why? Because Second Wind will apply on Wild Molten Shell. We're using Molten Shell as a normal walk. We don't use the footprints skill sign anymore. We're using Molten Shell, and it will increase the mana cost and will have no benefit. That's why you want 4 seconds, 2 links up there, 2 links up there, down there, and that's it. Dash and Second Wind, so we have 3 dashes on a very short cooldown. We're going with Divergent because Divergent will give us phasing, so we can run through the enemies for 2 seconds, which is nice. The last point is configuration, so you can make it yourself and see the exact damage you have. We do have power charges, we do have frenzy charges, we do have endurance charges. We summon a totem, we do that really often. You are on constant set ground because ball of face. So we go over here, we're going with the shortest, of course, because we're putting our siege ballistas next or under the boss. We shoot once ensnaring arrow, as I told you. Oh, you don't have to put in the numbers, it will max automatically. We shock because of our skitterbots, and the enemy is on considered ground. Sure it is, because we're popping all our flasks when the boss fight starts, or when we want to burst him, and we're staying in that range to get him on the ground to get more damage on him. Everything else you don't have to pick. I forgot to show you which Ascendancy I choose. I usually go this first, gives me another totem and placement speed. Going this gives you another totem, more damage, more mana regen. If you hit those, you can take out the number over there, which I showed you. And we have an always 4 endurance charges and power charges because of conviction of power. And here we just go for the mana regen because it's nice to have, and everything else isn't a benefit at all. Well, this is my version of Siege Ballista, a deck stacker totem build. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, leave a comment. If everything is covered, give a thumbs up. Well, I wish you all good luck and